She told me no, darling, you hate touching the night she called me. She told me no this morning. She talks on the bed, 거기로 no irony. 달라모 담배도 너 기시스 나요 너. 기타 아시서 kimi honey never tire no. So keep on me and not virgin honey show. 내가 알아던 네 내가 이 히터스. 행복한 와라스 원하게 니 morning morning. 내가 알아던 네 내가 이 히터스. 하리스 내가 오늘 we come and let's time right time. how I'm a 싶어. 내가 구성이네 let's time right time. how I'm a 싶어. You are king. You are king. 무섭기 위해서는 기다기다 너를 받은 캐나다니 원하던 기다기다 너 기회는 불쌍한 네 신뢰는 네가 보이러 나고 나타나는 나쁜 나타나 try 너 선택할 때는 말도 달라던 네 언내가 네 히터스 행복한 원하스 픽업은 너 warning 내가 안나던 네 언내가 네 히터스 하리스 내가 오늘 we come and let's time right time how I'm a people 싶어 시험의 구성이네 let's time right time how I'm a people 싶어 you are king you are king you are king
Good morning, everybody. Morning, Sean. Morning, Jaeger Pony. How y'all doing today? I tell you, I think this is one of the quickest setups I've ever done to get ready to go in the morning. I didn't leave work until after midnight last night. Had some system issues with the computers and other stuff going on. Then I get home and find out Rex is streaming, and he invited me on. Then Johnny Bonsaco showed up. It was almost 2 this morning before I finally got back to bed. And needless to say, I did not get up until after 8. And the wife's just sort of looking at me. She's off today because it's Veterans Day. She's off today, and she's just looking at me as I'm running through the kitchen trying to get me a cup of coffee going and getting this computer set up like I'm nuts. Good morning, Miss Becca. And speaking of 11/11, happy Veterans Days to all the veterans out there. Yeah. There are, just as a reminder, there are restaurants and other places offering veterans discounts and even some free meals here and there. So if you wish to partake, just look it up in your local area, see what's going on. I usually don't, but that's a personal thing. No, I've got nothing against it. I'm glad to see businesses and such honor veterans. It's just, I live in such a heavily populated area by veterans. I mean, we're within within 100 and some miles of 3 military installations. So there's a lot of veterans in this local area. And it's like, yeah, these companies still need to make money. But anyway, I don't think anything against those who don't, who do partake of it. The businesses offer it, and why not save some money and take advantage of it? But to all the veterans out there, particularly the disabled ones, please enjoy this day. It's meant to honor you and the service that you provided. Okay, well, let me go ahead and get this out on top yesterday out on top. That way I go through it again. Yesterday I showed that video of those two cops shooting the dog in the driveway. And a couple of people didn't, they thought I was condemning all cops. I don't condemn all cops, just like I don't praise all military. I know there are scumbags in every profession. You've got scumbag teachers, you've got great teachers. You got scumbag cops, you got great cops. You got scumbag military, you've got great military. Nurses, doctors, lawyers, automobile repair. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. Farmers, electricians, plumbers, politicians. Politicians seem to attract more scumbags than great ones, but there are a few great ones out interspersed with those scumbags. So I am not of the ACAB group. I don't believe all cops are bastards. I'm not for defunding the police. I am strongly supportive of policies, procedures, programs like the Brady program. If a cop is fired for cause from a force, then their name should be applied. In some states it's by law, in other states it's not, unfortunately. Should be given to what's called the Brady list. And that is a list of people who can't be hired as cops anywhere. And all police departments are supposed to compare any applicants' names against that list to ensure they're not hiring a scumbag cop. Bye, sweetheart.
I'm gonna go to the store, but back.
All right. You're getting some stuff for the grandson, right? Yeah. All right. We're grandbaby's coming over. MT's going to be here this morning. So in about an hour or so, you'll hear him coming in and yelling, "Grandpa!" I hope. But anyway, there are, like I said, it doesn't matter. Police departments need to clean up their own, and they need to be, this thin blue line has got to get broached, and the police have got to stop protecting other cops. We investigated ourselves and we did nothing wrong attitude that seems to be so prevalent in a lot of police departments. It needs to go. And it's hard to, considering the working relationship that so many district attorney offices and prosecutors have with the local police departments that they develop because, they work hand in hand. There seems to be issues, with the district attorneys, not wanting to press charges against even some of the worst offenders. Or if they do press charges, they let them, plead guilty to much lesser charges. So, or, there needs to it's like I've said before, and I don't remember who it was that who I was having this discussion with. It may have been with Dar. Sean, you're exactly right. If they don't back up the bad cops, they may not have backup when they need it either. You're right. It's that attitude that's so prevalent in police departments that it's a us versus them world. Us being the cops, regardless of skin color, race, gender, or anything else, versus everyone else. And that's this thin blue line mentality that I'm going to be honest. Every time I see a cop with a thin blue line flag on their uniform or on their car, I really do want to go up and rip it off of them. I really do. I detest that. I just detest that imaging. That's that's taking the American flag and they're making it part of their uniform by changing it, by putting that thin blue line across there. Good morning, Rex. Well, it was my pleasure, bud. The link's up on top if you want to jump on. But yeah, anyway, come to find out that One Ton Hammer, because he talked a little bit about some of this stuff last night on Minions. Then, of course, I talked about it yesterday morning. Come to find out, One Ton Hammer and I, we watch a lot of the same YouTube channels, Lackluster, Amagasset Press, and a few others that, show the best and the worst of police interactions and how the police treat the public. And one thing I need to say, and I say this all the time, these people are our employees. They work for us. Their paychecks, their buildings, their vehicles, a lot of their weaponry is all paid for out of our pockets. These are our employees. They're not gods just because they put on a uniform and a badge and carry a gun on their hips. All right. Or because they sit in a classroom and they instruct our children. All right. Or because they sit on the school board, or because, they're the mayor or the city council. Okay. Or county council, or whatever form level of government they're in, all the way up to the president. These people are our employees. We're not here to serve them. They are here to serve us. And a lot of these people get into that government employee position, and all of a sudden they've got this attitude that they know what's best for us. When 6 weeks earlier, they're out there begging us to vote for them to put them in that position. And in a year or so, they're going to be begging us to vote for them again. And it's like I said yesterday with that one teacher, out in California, saying that, she's going to continue to teach CRT and whatever she wants, regardless of any policies or pushback by the parents, because California is not a right to work state and she can't be fired. That's true. She may not be able to be fired, but she can be moved into a classroom or into a position where she doesn't have contact with children, and she doesn't have a right to have in her contract. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that these public employees, public servants need to remember. And I'm not against all of them. I'm just against the bad ones. So I'm not going to apologize if I offended anybody with what I had to say yesterday, or the fact that I highlighted some cops doing things I thought was wrong and that really pissed me off. All right. Because it did. And I thought them, and I still say those 2 cops need to be fired. So, all right. That's that. And since we were talking about schools there for a second, New York City, Bill de Blasio, they've got all these rules against guns, Well, I've got a feeling that they are next to become a lot like London. I want to make rules against knives. A New York City principal finds a stash of seized student weapons in the office. Look at this. I got a cheap little 22 here. There's probably a Jennings sitting there. Butterfly knife. This here's a good old-fashioned buck knife. That's a shame that some punk-ass student had that. Buck knives, I love them. I don't know what type of knife that is. These here are cheap little $1 knives that you buy at a convenience store. The only thing they're good for is opening up a box once or twice, and that's about it. They got this picture up there, so you can't see. What's that, a paring knife or a steak knife? A couple of paring knives there. So, yeah. A new Queens principal found a safe stuffed with a stash cache knives in his office this week after prior administrators apparently tucked the weapons away without reporting them. All right. Michael Borelli, who became head of IS, independent school, I guess, 125 in Long Island City, found this when he opened the safe in his office that Judy Middengler, who was his predecessor, he knows 2 shells and was shocked to see him filled with dizzying variety of knives and what appeared to be a gun. Appears to be a gun. Yeah, I would say that's a gun. Or when could that be an airsoft? Could that be a dart gun? See, that's the problem with a lot of these toy guns today. Nah, Sean, even then they're still they'd have to be toothless. And that's okay, and then they'd have to have a mush skull. Because you bat your head against somebody, man, that can hurt. So yeah, that could appear to be. I see why they say appears to be a gun. I was going to ridicule them for saying they don't know what a gun looks like, but it could be a toy gun. All right. Weapons in schools are supposed to be immediately reported to the school safety agents who hand them over to the New York Police Department. These items were later included on the NYPD weapons seizure tallies, which were later made public. So Borelli followed the procedure, and the school agents reported that the arsenal, the cache of weapons. Let's see. From what I see there, okay, steak knives, paring knives. I've got half a dozen or so of those sitting in my cupboard or my kitchen drawer. Pocket knives. I've probably got 24 pocket knives in the house, various shapes, sizes, blade angles. I carry 2 with me when I go to work every day as part of my EDC, everyday carry. I don't like this style of blade, so I don't own any of these. I don't like butterfly knives either. I've got no idea what in the hell this is supposed to be. And as far as this gun or replica or whatever, I mean, I carry a full-size Glock 17 on my hip every day. So, and that's, my wife's got her Glock, and then I've got half a dozen other guns in the house. So I have a hard problem. If this is all they found in the office, I've got a hard problem with the way, they're blowing up the amount, use the language, the cache of weapons, the arsenal. Yeah, that's getting a little ridiculous. Okay. Now, these items should have been reported to the school safety, standard procedure, or school leaders are trained to follow. The new school leader discovered and thoroughly followed, he did what he's supposed to do. And give me just a second here. Get that cough out of the way. Okay, let's see here. Now, this is the issue that they've got. The school safety agent union, Craig Floyd, said the fine confirms his longstanding charge that administrators don't report weapons to avoid scrutiny and soften statistics. This is an example I've been saying for years. How many other schools have safes that are full of weapons? Well, I'll guarantee you they're not now. Them administrators and whoever is taking all them weapons home in a gym bag and either put them in their own house or threw them in the trash cans. He also argued the incident illustrates the need to keep school safety under the purview of the New York Police Department as opposed to the Department of Education. School sources said IS 125 has been plagued by gang problems for many years. Parents need to know what's going on. It's scary to think they would hide weapons like that. I'm glad the new guy did what he did. Rex, when I was in high school, back in the dark ages, I would say 75% of the boys in our class, in our school, that's from freshmen up through seniors, had a buck 110 on their belt. Our FFA guys, Future Farmers of America, that is 100%. Every one of them carried a buck knife on their belt, and a lot of us other guys carried them too. My junior and senior year, I didn't carry one because of the fact I went to another school where, I would have ended up in jail. I was going also to a vocational school for my television, radio broadcasting courses and journalism courses. So I was attending 2 schools at once there, my junior and senior years of high school. Yeah. Morning, Green Badger. you're right. Arsenal, it doesn't surprise you. The media calls 222 rifles and a 200 round pack. Oh yeah, that to them that's a major cache, major arsenal. You um, you got 1,000 rounds of ammo. You're insurgent ready to take over the world or something. They don't understand 1,000 rounds of ammo. I'm going to blow through at least half of that on the range without thinking twice. I may blow through the whole 1,000 rounds if I'm having a good day. On a bad day, I may only go through 250 rounds. When I say bad day, how are the hands feeling? But this is interesting that the schools, let's see here, New York City school safety agents ranks have thinned 25% amid rise in gun busts. Not only that, but they've got these policies, of, defund the police, reduce the police presence, get police out of our schools. We don't need to have the police in the schools. We need to have, social workers and, hands off. Don't mess with our children. Don't mess with our people like this. Maybe this will get some of these parents more involved in what's going on in their schools. It's like any city though. New York City's got its it's got its districts that, well, I would find, if I had to crawl on my hands and knees, I'd find a way of getting out of there and getting myself into, anywhere but some of these districts, some of these neighborhoods that these schools and, the way crime has overtaken them. And you can go to any city, New York, Cleveland, Baltimore, Atlanta, Birmingham, and then of course along the West Coast, San Francisco, we see that on the news all the time. But I just find it interesting that as left, and these teachers and principals and such in New York City, they're not exactly strong conservatives. And why these weren't turned in, it had to be, there had to be a reason behind it, such as trying to make themselves look good, keeping themselves off the schools that require more attention. Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, these plastic ones here, Sean, this yellow plastic one and this one right here, and maybe even this one, those are convenience store impulse buy items. They're sitting right there next to the cashier and the little plexiglass displays. $1.50 for a pocket knife. So I don't even think Walmart would carry these cheap little suckers. I'd love to know what's back here in this area, because this round handle here has got me confused as what is on the other end of that. I wish that picture wasn't there. So, but yeah, I mean, guns, knives, who knows what else is in there, right? And I'm still curious about that supposed gun there. If that's, if it is a gun, it's like a real gun. I'm figuring it's probably a Jennings 22. Yeah, it might be a Spyderco. But, that's them cheap. You buy them at the, like I said, when I worked convenience store as a store manager, we had probably a half a dozen of them cheap knives sitting there. They're good for opening up a cardboard box once or twice before the handles broke off. The blade snapped out of the handle. Yes, I'm still drinking my first cup of coffee. CNN. Let me count the ways that I detest you. CNN is such a joke. They really are. I'm sure we all remember Jeffrey Toobin. He was one of their legal correspondents that during a Zoom call with co-workers and management of CNN decided that, he forgot that his camera was still on, and he started masturbating during his Zoom call. Well, he was given a temporary leave of absence, and he's back. Jeffrey Tubesock. Well, he's back. And he's making a total, he was, I've always thought he was a total ass anyway, but he's just proven how much he is a total ass. CNN's Toobin, good news for Rittenhouse. He's not on trial for being an idiot. Now, I'm going to play this. Whoops, I don't want that picture in picture. I thought that there. This is what I want. I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'm going to let you listen to what he has to say. Let's see. It's all of 47 seconds long, so I can do this without interruption. All right. So here we go. Listen to this gentleman.
Him. Didn't do a good job.
Jeffrey,
Two thoughts. Yeah. Two thoughts. One.
Okay, is that audio coming through okay? Yeah, it is. Okay, so back that up. Here we go again.
Thoughts. Yeah. Two thoughts. One. What kind of idiot 17-year-old gets a giant gun and goes to a riot? He has no license. He has no training. He thinks he's going to scrub graffiti off with his AR-15. I mean, the stupidity of this is like, what could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot went wrong. The good news for Kyle Rittenhouse is that he's not on trial for being an idiot. He's on trial for homicide. And in that respect, I mostly agree with Joey that this is a tough case for the prosecution because it does seem like he has a plausible case of self-defense. And, if it were illegal to be an idiot, the head.
Jeffrey, you are an expert on being an idiot and doing idiotic things. You really are. You proved that by, what caused your leave of absence from CNN for a while. So let's see here. What was this again? What kind of idiot 17-year-old gets a giant gun? Now, I've seen that AR. that's not a giant gun. That's a standard size AR. So it's not a giant gun. Now, Jeffrey, we're not comparing that gun to your penis. All right? Now, that comparison, it may be a giant gun, but I've got a feeling a pop gun would be giant. All right? Gets a giant gun and goes to a riot. Well, a lot of the time when he was there, he wasn't in a riot. He was scrubbing stuff, cleaning up during the daytime. All right? He has no license. Okay, is that a crime for a 17-year-old not to have a driver's license? Not in, no. And you don't need a license to carry a rifle. You only need a license to carry a pistol or revolver.
Credit him. Didn't do a good job.
What in the devil happened there? I don't know. Let's see here. He has no training. He was getting training by his friend and his friend's father. Morning, Johnny. So, yeah, he may be not getting the best training, but he was getting training. He thinks he's going to scrub graffiti off with his AR-15. Now, you don't use an AR to scrub graffiti. You use brushes and hot soapy water, maybe some turpentine or kerosene or even gasoline, lighter fluid, goof off. There's a lot of things you use, but you don't use an AR. Jeffrey, I'm sorry, but guns don't make good scrub brushes, okay? They really don't. That's not what they were designed for, But, ARs do make great weapons for self-protection. Oh, Sean, that 17-year-old, now 18-year-old, listening to him on the stand, and then, of course, what he did that night, in a lot of ways, he is more mature than a lot of 50-year-olds I know. He had great trigger control, and considering everything that he was undergoing, he only missed with 3 shots. And that was the guy that was jumping over top of him. So, yeah, I mean, that's amazing. He did him. And then the way he stood up to the prosecutors yesterday, he did. I don't know if I could do that good, be that composed throughout the nonsense that prosecutor was going through. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with that young man. And Sean, I don't take anything I say as a personal attack against you. I mean, I hope the pop gun comparison didn't offend you. And I especially hope the pop gun comparison isn't true. Okay, I mean the stupidity of this. You're right, Jeffrey. Your statement there was stupid. That is really a very stupid statement up to this point. What could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot went wrong. Yeah, I have to agree. A lot went wrong that day. The good news for Kyle, he's not on trial for being an idiot. He's on trial for homicide. Well, being as he's not an idiot, he's a 17-year-old who, in some ways, is extremely mature, and in other ways, he's a 17-year-old. In other words, he is a typical 17-year-old. Rittenhouse is on trial for multiple felonies. Yeah, we know that. All right, here we go. This is a tough case for the prosecution because it seems like he has a plausible case of self-defense. More than plausible. It is more than a plausible case there. Toobin, you're really downplaying this, aren't you? People are physically attacking him. It's like, well, this guy didn't touch you, did he? No, he grabbed my gun. Now, did you know that in most states, I don't know about Wisconsin, but in most states, you're holding a camera in front of you and you're recording things. And if somebody comes up and hits your camera, that is still considered assault and battery on you because that camera is at that time an extension of your body. All right. So for this district attorney to try to downplay the fact that this guy had grabbed a hold of the barrel of Rittenhouse's AR and was trying to pull it out of his hands, regardless of the fact that he's got a strap on, a cheap strap at that, but still he's got a strap on it. Okay. I would lay odds. I would bet dollars to donuts that in Wisconsin, you walk up to somebody and slap something out of their hands and you never touch them, you're still going to get charged with assault and battery. I will lay dollars to donuts on that. And this district attorney knows that. But he was downplaying it. He was trying to make it sound like it isn't. So, yeah. Jeffrey Toobin, you're an idiot. You're the idiot here, not Rittenhouse. Oh. Okay. Let's talk money here for a few minutes. This is going to be fun. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, any kind of economic wizard. To me, a lot of I did not take any beyond the economics I had to take in high school, basic economics. I don't have a degree or anything in it. Yeah, Badger. Okay, yeah, I can see that. It's like a lot of things, rules for thee, rules for me. You have your rules that you have to follow, and I've got ones that I have to follow. And a lot of them aren't the same. And I've been exposed over my lifetime to a lot of economic policies, theories, and I've just gotten what education a normal person who plays with politics as much as I do over my lifetime. Yeah, Neil, you're exactly right about that. I mean, the double standards was in this trial is horrendous. And I mean, all right, I'm yelling at the where are the objections from the defense attorneys yesterday? But anyway, I don't want to make this whole stream about Rittenhouse. But I had to go with that with Toobin. I mean, the pure idiocy of Toobin's statement. So anyway, like I said, I'm no great shakes at economic theories. I mean, I understand a little bit about macro and micro and international economies. I mean, yeah, the stuff that most people pick up over their lifetimes. Basically because you have to, because it's, you're spending money. But I do know that it's important that when you have people that you're putting in charge of the economy of a country, they have to believe in the financial institutions and the financial foundings of that country. In a communist country, then you're, of course, you have to believe and want to comport yourselves in a way that's going to be for the best interests of your communistic financial plans. If you're in a capitalist society, then you have to understand capitalism and believe in the economic policies that support, endorse, and cause a capitalistic society to thrive and grow and perform well for its people. I mean, these are the things that's important that you do. But old Biden, he seems to have less of a concern about that. I mean, to me, that just makes common sense. If I'm going to put somebody in charge of the United States banking system, I want somebody who believes in capitalism there. Somebody who believes in our banking system and in the way that we make our monies and the way make our economy work. But Biden doesn't seem to think so. You see this lady here? And this picture, while it's not the most, shall I say, flattering photograph of her, it does, I think, represent the stereotype of her political leanings, let's say. Okay? This woman is Saule, I guess, Saule. Okay, whatever. Omarova. Yeah, Omarova. All right. She's been nominated to be in charge of the banking system here in the United States. All right. And this is when she's sitting before the committee. Joe Biden's pick for the nation's top banking regulator received a scholarship named for Lenin and praised the Soviet Union for paying the sexes equally. All right. Biden nominated her to lead the office of the Comptroller of Currency, which regulates national banks. In 2019, she praised aspects of the Soviet Union's economic system, calling the lack of a gender pay gap a huge achievement and an example of a flaw in capitalism. A native of Kazakhstan, she graduated in 1989 from the Moscow State University, where she received the Lenin Personal Academic Scholarship. She's already facing opposition from the financial services industry over her proposal to end banking as we know it. A proponent of stricter banking regulations, which I've got no problem some regulations need to be made stricter. She's proposed a system of banking that relies on individuals rather than banks to hold accounts with the Federal Reserve. She says such a radical change to the system will make it more inclusive, efficient, and stable. So instead of having, Wells Fargo and your credit union, your local teachers credit union, local military credit union, your local, I don't even know the names of all the different banks. I mean, God, here in this town where I live, we've got 10 different banks. Some named after the county, some are nationwide banks, some are, credit unions for the different military bases. Then you got the teachers union. You got the teachers union. Bank. So yeah, there's a lot of this going on, and a lot of different banks, different credit unions, and all these to work for the people. Now, it's not like, we don't already have an example of what happens when the federal government takes over and takes over a system. Thousands and thousands of regulations kick in, and money gets wasted in the bureaucracy. And it's not like there isn't already a huge bureaucracy in the banking system anyway. Mr. Scott, I've always got good leftovers. So, yeah, it may become more, and I don't know about being more inclusive, because all banks are concerned about is that you have money. Banks want to know that you've got money. And the more money you have, the better they treat you. Banks don't care about what color you are. They don't care about who you sleep with. They don't care usually, in most cases, they don't care about your politics or anything else, unless you happen to be a gun owner. Then that's only because the federal government stepped in and pressured them. But banks, they're concerned about one thing and one thing only: money. So let's see here. In addition to tougher regulations, she supports numerous progressive, right there's a scary word, scary idea, enough to make me totally against her. Progressive proposals include the multi-trillion-dollar Green New Deal. Yeah, okay, right there. Disqualifies her 100%. She's called for a creation of massive government bureaucracy, of course, that she calls the National Investment Authority, modeled on the New Deal Reconstruction Finance Corporation. The National Investment Authority would coordinate the U.S. long-term national economic strategy and infrastructure development. Here we go. In addition to developing roads, bridges, and other traditional infrastructure projects, the authority would fund affordable housing, public transit, and clean energy projects, as well as climate change mitigation solutions. Yeah, so we already know who she is. I mean, right there tells us a whole lot about this woman. You're exactly right. They say progressive, they mean communist. And when I said, I mean, does that not look like you would expect a Chinese communist to look? That face right there, the face, the haircut, I mean, everything. That just screams Chinese communist. That's just her policies have run her accolades from progressive lawmakers and special interest groups. Senator Warren said that her nomination was tremendous news. And the Sierra Club said she would help the Office of the Comptroller of Currency fight against climate chaos and set up guardrails against Wall Street's risky fossil fuel investments. This woman is scary as hell. And this is who Biden wants to put in charge of the banks. Now, she has kept silent as far as talking to media pretty much, except, anybody who, she's already stated that anybody who opposes her nomination, especially any sitting senators, well, they're doing it because they're racist. They're not doing it because she's wrong for the job. They're not doing it because her policies are communistic and a threat to our economics. They're doing it because, well, they're racist. Now, I hadn't heard her throw out the sexist card, but I'm sure that's soon to drop. So she'll probably get put on. I mean, the Senate is run by the Democrats, and they may have enough votes to put her in the system. This is just a scary thought altogether. Okay, I need to take just a second of a break here. I got to find out what's, let's see, I got to take a read here. All right. Okay, I'm good to go. So let's take a look here. Yeah. Now, any of us that go shopping, I know all of us do a little bit of shopping every day. And if not every day, at least once a week. I mean, you got to go to the grocery store. You got to fill up your vehicles with gasoline. Pay your electric bill. Now, every Friday, or most Fridays, I make up a shopping list. I do a large amount of the cooking in the house. And I spend, after the show on Friday, I go down to the local grocery store, Walmart, Publix, grocery outlet, Piggly Wiggly, depending on what I'm buying, and I do my grocery shopping for the week. I've got my menu planned out, what I'm cooking, how much I'm cooking of each item. And then Friday, Saturday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I'm cooking up. Well, good morning, Lieutenant Vanisher. How you doing today? So, in that way, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when I'm working second shift, the wife comes home from work and she can just pull out of the fridge a meal that's already prepared. And before I go to work, I can reach in the fridge and pull out a meal that's fully prepared to take to work for dinner, which works out quite well. And, since the wife's she doesn't really enjoy cooking, it works out well for her too, because all she's got to do usually is throw it in the microwave and warm it up. Oh, I'm spending time with your daughter, taking her to school. That's great. I used to love taking my son to school or picking him up afterwards, especially picking him up afterwards and going home, because then I wasn't in a rush. You're always in a rush getting them to school because you got to get them there on time. There's no such thing as getting home on time usually, so you can goof around going home from school. But anyway, my grocery bill back a year ago, I could cook 28 meals, which is how many meals between the wife and I we eat every week, 28 meals. I could buy everything I needed for anywhere between $70 to $90. And that was my grocery budget for the week. Now it's 125 on the very low end to $140 to $150. And believe me, I'm not buying steaks. Ground beef, chicken breast, chicken thighs. About the only thing, I don't even buy whole strips of bacon. I buy the packages of bacon ends and such. I've shown that before, to where, it's 3 pounds of bacon ends, and usually end up with 1.5 pounds of bacon and 1.5 pounds of fat after everything's been trimmed up and cooked down. Then I render out the bacon fat and got that in a container in my refrigerator, and I use that instead of cooking oil most days, especially in my cast iron. So, but that's my usual grocery bill. And I mean, I'm a fairly frugal shopper. I buy name brand when I need to. And when I don't need to, if I can get away with generic brand, I buy the generic brand. If I'm buying a good cut of meat for a meal, then of course, I'm looking for a good cut of meat. But anyway, so let's take a look at what's going on here. Because like I said, we're all seeing the Fed's transitory inflation plot thickens again at a rate at a 30-year high. It's been 30 years since inflation rates jumped this much. Inflation is pushed through more broadly economy in October again, challenging the Federal Reserve's outlook for only a transitory price increases, offsetting. Well, hi! I just got a little 2-3 foot visitor. Oh, did you get a haircut?
Uh-huh.
You got a haircut?
No. I went potty.
Oh, you went potty. Okay. You want to come up and give Grandpa a hug?
I got new shoes on.
Oh, you got new shoes on.
Uh-huh.
Can I see your new shoes? Can you reach my hand, buddy? Yeah. Come on. You can make it. Come on. Oh, come on. You can make it. Grandma's going to help you up here. Okay. Okay, well, let me see your new shoes. All right. Yeah, those are nice looking shoes. Who's that on your shirt?
Mommy made that. Mommy made that.
Oh, mommy made that shirt for you?
It's got Spider on it.
Yeah, it's got Spider-Man on it.
Daddy likes Spider.
You like Spider-Man.
No, Daddy likes Spider.
Oh, Daddy likes Spider-Man. Okay.
Daddy likes Spider.
Huh?
Yep, Daddy does like Spider-Man. So does Grandpa.
Huh. My Hulk at home.
What's at home?
Hulk.
Your Hulk is at home?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And Spider-Man. Captain America. And I made that home.
But you know what? They're all at Grandma's house.
Hello?
Mm-hmm. So it's your farm set.
No.
Well, you brought it over.
No, I got it in Grandma.
Yeah, you brought it over to Grandma's house.
Okay.
Okay.
My tablet's charging. My tablet's charging.
Your captain's.
No, my tablet.
Oh, your tablet.
My tablet's charging.
Yeah, your tablet's charging.
Uh-huh. My mommy been on my bomb. My baby is my animal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mommy brought in your animals.
Huh?
Mommy brought in your animals. Okay, let's go out here and you can help Grandma put her groceries away, okay?
Okay.
Because I bought you some stuff and I want to know if you like it.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Grandpa will be out in a little bit. Okay.
Want to shut?
And that was MT. Yes. Hey, just like Monkey, when MT comes in the room, he takes priority. So I hope y'all don't mind. All right, let's see here. Where were we? Okay, yeah, the price increases offsetting recent wage hikes and a blow to consumers, prompting investors to boost bets the central bank will raise interest rates sooner than expected. All right, now a lot of this I don't know. I don't get involved with. Okay, I'll be honest. Consumer prices rose by 6.2% in October versus the year before. That's the largest one-year jump in prices in 30 years and applied across staples like food, energy, and rent, as well as to items like automobiles. And can you believe the price of cars? You can't even get a decent price on a used car right now. But I've been looking for the past 6, 7, well, actually for the past year for a not brand new, but a good used crossover or SUV for the wife. Something that rides a little bit higher because, well, like me, getting in and out of lower cars is starting to hurt the knees a little bit more. So that's why I got the pickup truck that I got now, because I don't have to, getting in and out's a lot easier on my knees. Where the feds have expected the price or the pace of price increases to ease. Well, they haven't eased, have they? But these bottlenecks remain overrun by strong U.S. consumer demand and inflation measures meant to diminish the one-time spikes in goods and services are also rising. Nothing's working. They're not decreasing. The prices are still going out crazy. And the pay raise I got, I got a nice little pay raise here a few months back, about a month and a half, 2 months ago. But it's by no means offset the increase in prices of food and gasoline. To run my truck, which this truck has got a big V8 in it. That's the one thing I don't like about the truck is it's got the size of the engine, but okay. Before all this has hit us hard, the price of the gas, I could fill it for about $15 a week. I usually use between 6 to 7 gallons of gasoline a week. The truck doesn't get the best mileage in the world. I think I get around 16 and a half miles to the gallon. So I don't drive a whole heck of a lot, but like I said, I use between 6 to 7 gallons. This last time I went and filled up, it cost me $26. That was, to go from 16 to $17 to $26, yeah, that's a $10 increase in gasoline on me. That is real money. Almost doubling my food costs. Yeah, that's real money. My paycheck didn't go up that much. Mr. Scott, that's the way I feel too, because most of my driving is, I've got a nice stretch of highway that about 2.5, 3 miles long where I've got no red lights. So once I get on that highway, I can set the cruise control and just go. And that's another thing I do too, is I'm not one of the, good thing I drive home at night, most nights, that's after dark, because again, my wife gets frustrated when she rides with me because I'm the guy that starts, I don't use the brakes a lot. I, just ease off the gas. So, well, Neil, like I said, sometimes there's benefits to being older. So we've got these problems. We have got a serious issue going on with inflation. And it's not just that that article. Now, these articles are both out of left-wing news sites, both of them coming from MSN. All right. Fuel, housing costs boosted in October's inflation. Here's what it means: Fed stance on interest rates. Consumer prices index jumped by 6.2%, above the 5.9 expected. The CPI was boosted by a broader group of price increases, suggesting to some economists there's a risk of inflation becomes more persistent. Yeah, inflation is going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Especially, your gas prices, this is strictly Obama or Biden's fault. We were, if not completely, 99% fuel independent towards the end of Trump's administration. Now Biden is begging OPEC to increase production. We're not using more fuel, but Biden's policies have restricted the amount of fuel that we're producing. The market is now anticipating the Federal Reserve could raise rates to fight inflation as early as July. So we've got to wait almost a year before the Fed's going to do anything. October's surge in consumer prices was driven by factors that may linger. Market pros say the Federal Reserve may be forced to move up its timeline on its ultimate inflation-fighting tool, interest rate hikes. Now, interest rate hikes. What does that mean? Well, if you go to buy a house, you're going to pay more on that interest loan. All right. You go buy a new car and you finance it, you're going to pay more on it. Your credit card debt is going to go up. Now, I'm very, very lucky on the interest rate that I got on my home that I bought a couple years ago, over 3 years ago. My interest rate is under 3%. I can honestly remember that when a friend of mine bought his house, he was exceedingly happy to get 8.23% interest. Yeah, 8% interest. I can remember those days. That was in the early 80s. 8% interest rates on home loans. Now, on the flip side of that, if you've got a lot of money in the bank, you're going to make more money on the interest on your savings accounts and CDs and such. But most of us don't have enough money in the bank that is going to offset that interest that we get paid is going to offset the interest that we're paying out. That's not going to happen. Because remember, most banks, they are in it to make a profit. They have to make a profit because they've got to pay their bills. They've got to pay their employees. They've got to pay their insurances. They've got to pay for land, and and of course, they've got to have the biggest, fanciest buildings around. So, and computer networks, can't fault them for wanting to spend a lot of money on computers and computer networking. So yeah, they may be charging you. So, they're going to charge you 8% on any money that you borrow from them, but any money that they're paying you interest on, it may be at 5%, 4%, half of what they're charging out. And then that differential is where they're making their money. The Fed funds market is showing that traders have placed a higher odds on the central bank to start raising rates by July rather than September. Traders expect another rate hike by December and at least 3 more in 2023. The real risk is they're going to move faster in September. The market is pricing a faster move. And until today, we actually thought the market was ahead of itself. If we get a few more numbers like this, not only is inflation not slowing, it's accelerating. And if it continues to gain steam, there's going to be a panic in the first quarter, given what that means in December, January, and February. We already know we're going to see big price gains in November, given what we've seen in gas prices. So, yeah. Diane Swank, the chief economist at Grant Thornton, says she does not expect inflation to peak until next year. She thinks we'll be cresting in the first quarter, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. The comps don't play out until the spring. It's not a pretty picture. Used vehicle prices, and this is what I was saying. They're up 2.5% over September, over 26% year over year. There's the big number. New vehicle prices are up 9.8% year over year. So right there, 26% higher prices on used vehicles. I don't buy brand new vehicles. I bought one time, and I had it less than a month before some woman totaled it on me. I'll never buy another. I got lucky. I had comp insurance on it, something that most experts tell you not to get. Well, I did get it, and it covered like I said, I didn't even have it 30 days, had not even made my first payment on it yet. And it got totaled out. The vehicle was actually worth less than what I owed on it. And that comp insurance paid that differential for me. So now those are both left wing, those are MSN News, pretty left wing. NBC did a little piece on this. And, NBC is a big supporter of Biden. Huge supporter of Biden. This here's how they portrayed what's going on.
Recently passed $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us now. So, Monica, what is the president saying right now about the high inflation rate?
Well, this did put the White House on defensive a bit, Joe, because yesterday when the president scheduled this event, he thought he was going to be touting this legislative victory on the bipartisan infrastructure plan. But of course, those inflation numbers put everything into a bit of a different context. And he did want to send a message to consumers that he understands. He offered a sympathetic tone. He said, essentially, I feel your pain. And then he made an argument for why he thinks the rest of his economic agenda might be the answer to some of these woes. Take a listen.
Many people remain unsettled about the economy, and we all know why. They see higher prices. They go to the store online, or they can't, or they go to the store or go online, and they can't find what they always want and when they want it.
Can't find what we want and when we want. Yeah, that's right. If the wife and I ordered Christmas presents already, well, got notification that stuff that was supposed to be delivered the first week of December may not get here until January.
And we're tracking these issues and trying to figure out how to tackle them head on. My administration, with the help of the folks on my left over here, has a plan to finish.
Quite appropriate, they're on your left. Bunch of communists.
The job of getting us back to normal from the pandemic and having a stronger economy than we ever had before.
Of course, these high inflation numbers do undercut one of the president's central tenets and messages that the economy is on the road to recovery and that his plan is working. So the White House now is working overtime to, again, try to say that if they can enact the Build Back Better plan that could create millions of jobs, that would help. But there are a lot of concerns, and it's not just from Republican critics, but from some Democrats as well who are seeing this and are a little worried about what's to come, Joe.
I mean, Monica.
Yes, they're just more than, some of the Democrats aren't stupid, and they're not following Trump. They're not following Biden blindly. And a lot more people are going to be wishing that Trump was still in office. This is where we need a businessman, not an ideologue, sitting in that White House to get this economy back on tracks. Somebody who understands business, somebody who understands interest rates, somebody that's not going to be borrowing shit tons of money against the future grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren and 5 times great-grandchildren because it's not going to ever work.
At the Port of Baltimore yesterday, the president was talking about the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which was recently passed. Does the White House think that bill could help fight inflation?
That's a part of it. And of course, there's a main question here about the implementation of that $1.2 trillion plan. That shovels will be going into the ground soon. The president, of course, has already.
Yeah, we've already heard about these shovel-ready plans. So, yeah. Yeah, Neil, I was real happy I had comp. It saved me about $3,000 out of my pocket. That accident still, all said and done, cost me almost $30,000, $40,000 because I was out of work for 6 months. Okay. Yeah, this country, we got a lot of problems right now. Inflation is going to kill us. The wife and I were having a discussion about this the other day. You know, we're probably going to end up getting rid of cable and go to strictly boost our internet plan a little bit better and cut cable out. Try to save some money there because neither one of our paychecks gone up enough to cover this cost of food. And I highly recommend everybody else be doing the same because the next couple of years it's going to be a rough ride. Green Badger, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And California, no independent truckers allowed on the ports. I don't know if that's still in effect or not. All trucks have to be at least a 2011 and newer to get on the ports. Wow, you get 58 channels on an antenna? Amazing. Yeah. If I can find a way to get the 5 cable channels that the wife watches on a continual basis, then get that off the internet, I think I'll be able to convince her to let me do it. I've got to be able to get all the Hallmark channels, Food Network, and a station that, something like something that plays music, just no interruptions for commercials and such, just music the whole time. Man, that would be me, 24/7 old westerns. That's something I would love. But I've got a television here in the bedroom. I accidentally turned it on the other night. Monday night, I accidentally turned it on when I was fumbling for something on the nightstand. And it had to go through a 10 minutes of updating. That's how long it's been since I turned it on. So, let's see here. Yeah, let's look at this real quick. I don't know that much about Pandora now. I don't know. Do you have to pay for Pandora or anything like that? I may have to look into that. But now see, okay. Snowden told us why smart TVs are so cheap. Okay, Bishop, I've got no clue what you're talking about there. Yeah, see, that's just it. She doesn't want ads. She just wants music to play. She doesn't want to hear ads. So, the school board mess. the parents taking over and talking back to school boards, these domestic terrorists that like at Loudoun County, all those, that as the school board wrote to Biden and to get the FBI to investigate. Okay. Well, it seems like it's just not on the East Coast of the United States and the Midwestern part of the U.S. having problems with parents stepping up and taking over their school boards. San Francisco mayor backs recall of 3 school board members. San Francisco Mayor London Breed announced her support for the recall of 3 of the 7 members of the San Francisco Unified School District. The campaign recall board members secured enough signatures in October. On Tuesday, the mayor said in a lengthy Facebook that parents were voicing normal, commonplace frustration and the school board's priorities had been misplaced. Wow. Amazing. Our school district is in dire fiscal situation. The kids have fallen behind after spending more than a year out of classroom. Sadly, the school board's priorities have been severely misplaced. One of the issues parents complain about is while schools have been closed for in-person learning during it, the school board dedicated time to voting to rename 44 buildings. 3 members up for recall are President Gabriela Lopez, Vice President God Only Knows, and Commissioner Allison Collins. Well, can I close that window? Yeah. All right. The kids have fallen behind in their education. They are breaking down from mental health challenges of the pandemic. Exacerbated by chaos in our public schools, and parents feel the school boards aren't listening, prioritizing their kids in the classroom, or trying to solve these problems. Remember they wanted to rename all these schools that were initially named after mostly white men to, they were picking some of the Hugo Chavez and a whole bunch of POC left-wing icons. Now they did name one after Harvey Milk, of course. So there'd be a white guy that they wanted to name it after. Okay, the recall effort in San Francisco mirrors campaigns in Virginia, Wisconsin, and other parts of the country. Many of these recall efforts have been described by analysts as Republican-led efforts to push back against the liberal school board policies. Some analysts also credit the focus on education as fueling the Republican victories in the 2021 off-year election cycle. The 3 school board members up for recall were described as liberals by the San Francisco Chronicle. If successful, the Breed, a Democrat, will appoint their successors until the next election in November. Okay. If the San Francisco Chronicle is calling them liberals, then they're probably communist. But the question is, remember, anybody who fights back against the school boards is an insurrectionist. They're a domestic terrorist. They're, whatever. They're evil. They're white men. They're white women. They're racist. They're sexist. They're transphobic. They're every mean and evil-ist except communist in the dictionary. So, yeah, this is this is the this is what parents remember. A lot of these parents, they didn't understand what was going on in their schools until the pandemic caused in-home learning. And remember, at the beginning of that, when this whole mess started, school boards were trying to pass rules that parents could not even be in the room with their children when they're doing the Zoom classes. And then school boards started sending out letters to the teachers trying to tell them how to hide certain subjects and how to rephrase some of the language that they were using so that the parents would find it less objectionable. So when school boards are doing stuff like that, they know what they're teaching the parents are going to find objectionable and the parents aren't going to be happy with. You're right. They're a bunch of clowns, Neil. Yep. It's how everybody that disagrees with a liberal, you're a racist, sexist, homophobe. And now we got to throw in transphobe. So you're not just a racist, sexist, homophobe. You're a racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe. You're scared of that female penis. Whatever. Johnny, come on, Johnny. The link's at the top. It's pinned if you want to join up. But yeah, this is one of the few good things that have come out of this pandemic. Another good thing, at least personally here, I'll say, is that's come out of this pandemic that was good is the wife and I got to spend a lot of time together for the first time in years during the pandemic because, where she worked was shut down, so she was home for a while. And rather than us being we've been working opposite schedules for so many years, that to spend time together was nice. And then since then, I was able to revamp my schedule to where, like I said, I get 4 days a week where I'm home with the wife in the evenings. Well, that's when you're at your best, Johnny, when your brain ain't turned on yet. How late did you and Rex and Neil stream last night? Okay. Oh, come on, John. You knew I couldn't let that slide too late. You left that barn door open. Of course I'm going to walk through it. And speaking of being called a racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe, yeah, a lot of red pills were handed out, and a few black pills too. You showed up, blew up, and shut it down. Okay. Why white voters with racist views often still support black Republicans. Wow. Hakeem Jefferson and Michael Tesler. Hakeem Jefferson is an assistant professor of political science at Stanford, where he is also a faculty affiliate with the Center of Comparative Studies of Race and Ethnicity with the Stanford Center for American Democracy. He is an expert on issues of race and identity in American politics. Yeah. And, Michael Tesler is a professor of political science at California Irving, author of The Post-Racial or Most Racial, Race and Politics in the Obama Era, and co-author of Identity Crisis, the 2016 Presidential Campaign, and the Battle for the Meaning of America. So, yeah, these are the two people who wrote this article. Can white voters who back a black candidate still hold racist belief and views? The question has come in the fore of the wake of Glenn Youngkin's gubernatorial victory in the bluish state of Virginia. Conservatives were quick to counter claims that Youngkin's win represented the effectiveness. They're quick to counter these claims. The effectiveness of stroking racial fears with the results of Virginia's down ballot election for lieutenant governor, a contest where Republican candidate Winsome Sears made history by becoming the first black woman elected to a statewide office in Virginia. The Wall Street Journal's editorial board emphatically mocked the notion that voters called white supremacists elected a black lieutenant governor. Conservative commentators on Fox News and Twitter, including Sears herself, also used the historic victory as an ostensible shield against accusations of Republican racism. I've never met a Republican racist. I know there's got to be some out there, but I have never personally met one. The Republican conservatives, the Republicans I've met, don't give a damn about race. We're more concerned about your ideology. Are you for the ideas, or are you for, a meritocracy? Are you for, the best person gets the job regardless of race or gender? And if that means, do you have the rights of freedom of association? Do you have the rights for self-defense? The items sort of carried out in the Bill of Rights, do you have the right to be secure in your home, your possessions? There's a lot of things there that I see coming out of Republicans, and it's usually not based on race. The people who seem to be putting race above everything are the Democrats. Which party supports racial set-asides? Which party supports set-asides based on gender? Which party supports set-asides based on who you want to sleep with or what you want to do to your body? Those are the parties of the racist, sexist, okay? But supporting a black candidate hardly precludes voters from harboring racist beliefs and motivations. Republicans are increasingly more likely than Democrats hold prejudiced views of minorities, so black Republicans like Sears often draw strong support from white Americans with otherwise anti-black views. Now, what do you mean by anti-black views? I didn't follow this link to see what they're talking about here. Oh, that's a link to his book, Identity Crisis, the 2016 campaign. So, it's him pushing his own book and using his own book to support his article here. So he's his own expert. All right. A clear example of this was the 2016 Republican presidential primary when Ben Carson made a bid to become the GOP's first African American presidential nominee. Now, I like Ben Carson. Okay. But he was not a presidential material. Ben Carson is an amazing man. His life story is something to be held up as something for people to emulate. The way his mother raised him is something that parents today need to be looking at and emulating. You know, forcing their children to read, forcing them to get good grades. You know, she held their feet to fire when they were children, and look what happened to the children. You're exactly right, Johnny. You are exactly right. The more they try to call us racist and homophobes and whatever else, the more we're going to stand up against them because we're tired of it. Support for Carson was positively correlated with the belief that Black Americans have too much influence, according to data from the Washington whatever. I couldn't support Carson because I didn't think he was presidential material. He'd be great as an advisor in areas that he was an expert in. But I never thought that he had the force of will to stand up against the left, to be honest. I never thought that he, and I still don't think that he's got the to say that he's got the backbone to, like Trump did, stand up and say F you to the people that were threatening him. F you, I'm going to do what I think is right regardless. All right. Carson's net likability and vote share against Hillary and let's see. How much influence do African Americans have in politics? What the heck kind of chart is this? Whites who thought Black Americans had too much influence really liked Carson and preferred him as a candidate, while whites who thought Black Americans had too little political influence preferred Hillary. Okay, I heard somebody just go in there. Who is it? Good morning, Johnny.
I got your good morning, buddy. I haven't had my coffee yet. Look, you got me all pissed off already. God damn it! No, we're not doing this. These people are crazy.
Crazy ain't the word for it.
Okay, stupid.
Thank you. They're intentionally ignorant.
The stuff that we had to listen to about, you're talking about Ben Carson right now. We had to deal with Larry Elder out here in LA. And he's the black face of white supremacy. That was a headline on the LA Times newspaper. And I was like, y'all just don't even realize how racist you sound.
Or how about when that white woman or Mexican woman wearing a gorilla mask and pink hair, pink wig, threw an egg at him?
Yeah, she's a piece.
And they just brushed it off like nothing.
I am happy that they're doing it because they're pushing people that wouldn't normally get involved. People are pissed now, especially after what I saw with Virginia. The media came out and went, oh, okay, well, we've been nailing white men for 20 years. Let's go after the white women now. I congratulated my wife. I said, you are now part of the most hated people in the political world here in our country. And she goes, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, they're trying to cancel white women because y'all didn't vote the way they wanted you to. Y'all racist now. And she's like, shit, we've been here for 2 years. And I'm like, wow, no, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Go ahead, sir. Finish your article.
Well, I'm just, I just find this amazing. Okay. Whites who thought black Americans had too little influence preferred Hillary. Wouldn't you think whites who thought blacks didn't have enough influence would prefer Carson? And whites who thought blacks had too much influence would prefer Hillary? You would want, if you think blacks have too much influence, then you wouldn't want the black man in office. You'd want the white person. And if you thought they didn't have enough, you'd want the black man in office, not the white woman. But they're saying here just the opposite.
Right, because they're not. See, the black man is only black so long as he agrees with the progressive and the leftist agenda.
You mean the communist agenda?
Well, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, okay.
Let's call it what it is.
You're not a black man once you cross the center line and start moving right. You just aren't. And I've never understood it. Most of them, you said I've never met a Republican racist. Most of my black friends are Republicans. And it's like, I talked to a good buddy of mine a couple of days ago. He is asking me, what the hell happened? Because we grew up back in the 80s, and he's like, dude, I don't recognize this stuff. I don't recognize this. We weren't racist back in the 80s, but we're all racist now. No, Woody, we're not. No.
All right. I've got this new coworker at work, young black lady. She's 22 years old. And, of course, I'm 62. And we were talking, she's worked customer service, but never in the hospitality industry. So I'm trying to explain to her some of the things that's going to happen. And some of it's not the pretty stuff that happens when you're working in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's the racists that come in. The guys, you get the old white guy that comes in and says, "Is this place owned by Indians? Because I don't smell any curry."
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's common. Okay, hold up a second. Yeah, what you got, buddy?
Go tell him where we're going. Because he wanted to tell you.
Oh!
Well, that's right. The grandbaby's
what
there.
What you doing there? What you doing, MT? Are you going somewhere?
No, we're going to the park.
You're going to the park?
Uh-huh.
Are you going to be good for Grandma while you're at the park?
Uh-huh.
You promise?
Uh-huh.
Well, can Grandpa have a hug and a kiss before you go?
Yes.
Okay, come here. Give Grandpa hugs. Oh, thank you, buddy. Mwah.
Okay,
All right.
let's go.
We'll see you when you come home for lunch, okay?
Well, we may go out for lunch.
Oh, you're going to go out for lunch.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, you don't have to shut the door. You can leave the door open. That way Spanky can come in and out, okay? Okay. You be good for Grandma.
Okay.
All right.
That was the cutest thing I've ever heard, man.
Okay, I'm back.
That was so damn cute.
Yeah, that's my grandson. He just turned 3 back on the 17th.
Oh, yeah, my babies are growing up. Shroom?
Yeah.
Moo is officially taller than me now.
Yeah, I heard that the other night.
6'6". What is this crap?
6'6". My God, even I gotta look up at him now.
I was standing next to him and he's looking down on me, and I'm like, I need to punch you in the mouth just on principle. You're looking down on me.
No, it's not the mouth you want to punch him. You want to make him go low. Yeah, Badger, they're going to spend at least 3 hours at the park, so they're going out there and have a lot of fun here. But yeah, like I was saying though, I was trying to explain to her some of the stuff. You get the old white guy comes in and says, well, I can tell this isn't Indian owned because I don't smell any curry cooking.
Wow.
You'll get the it happened to me last night. You'll get the black women come in and I don't pay that. I don't do this. Why do I have to do that?
That's this generation though that I because Becca was talking because she was doing the hiring. They fired a bunch of people, hired a bunch of new people, and she makes them sound to be the younger crowd. They have no work ethic. They have none. And it's like, you expect me to do this? Well, you're getting paid, aren't you? That's the reason we hired you, isn't it?
This is your job, J-O-B.
She hired, I think she fired 2 people within 2 weeks of hiring.
Wow.
That's how crappy they were.
Well, I'll be on, as proud as I am of my son, as how hard of a worker he is now. I got him his first job out there with me when he was 15 years old. And the owner of the hotel was paying him cash. Had come out every weekend and basically clean up the parking lot, the pool area, and help fold laundry. And and then go around to all the rooms and pull the trash out of the rooms and get it down to the dumpsters. So not real physical hard work, but still you got, and the boss come in and goes, I'm about ready to fire your son. I said, why is that? He goes, he's spending more time trying to find something to listen to on his phone than doing what I need him to do. And I said, well, you do what you got to do. I don't. I brought him up here, but it's on to him to keep it.
Yeah.
And if he's not doing what he's supposed to do, you do what you got to do. And he pulled him in and sat down and had a talk with him. And it lasted for about 3 weeks, and he was right back to doing what he was doing before. So the boss fired him. And boy come to me and he's like, Dad, what happened? Why aren't I working anymore? I said, because you weren't working to start with. And he goes, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you mean I actually have to work to keep a job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I ripped into Moo's butt a couple of weeks ago. We were stacking firewood. And we were putting some out on the back deck, and I come back, and it's just a pile. It's like he just threw it all in a pile. Didn't stack nothing. And I'm like, dude, you need to redo this right now. And he's like, why? Because this is... I had started a beautiful foundation of stacking the wood perfectly, and you just come in and you just dump it all in a pile. I said, what happens? We have earthquakes here. What happens if we have an earthquake? The wood all fall down on the baby. Come on, man. We sat there, and I lost my shit. I'm like, you go to work for someone and you do this with that attitude, you're never going to be able to hold a job. Started a half-hour tirade on Dad talking about work ethic and how you need to have respect for yourself and how you have to have respect for the job you're doing, how you have to, the job you do is a representation of who you are. And he's just sitting there staring at me, 16-year-old kid. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, it's like talking to a wall, man.
Man, been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
God. Jeez. I turn to my wife and I go, I'm sorry. She goes, no, he needs to hear that. And I'm like, oh, really, you're gonna let me start to rip into the baby now? And she's like, well, you see that attitude he had? Okay, all right. That's the thing that's going on. The stuff that we're talking about right now. My wife wants nothing to do with politics. She is now getting involved in politics because of all the crap that's going on.
She's got no choice.
Mm-hmm.
They're forcing people who've never had a real interest in politics because they trusted their servants. They trusted their employees to do the right thing. And now they're finding out that for the first time that for the past 60 years, these employees have not been doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I am not used to. My wife is really well. I think, been on stream with her, with us a couple times. She really soft-spoken, quiet girl. She's like, "You deal with the politics. I'll deal with the rest of it." Okay, all right. She's coming upstairs now, ranting and raving about the insanity that's going on.
She's caught the pill somehow, huh?
I think. Well, she's always she was raised, in a strict Christian family, so she's always been conservative. But she is now just she comes up, she's raging. It's like, I can't believe what they're expecting our kids to learn in school. I'm like, been trying to tell you. She's like, but I had no idea it was this bad. Been trying to tell you. And after that crap she saw in Virginia, where Twitter just exploded, because she just got on Twitter too.
Oh, God. Twitter is a real eye opener.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh about it, and we make jokes about it a lot. Liberals on the guy who does the liberals on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I love
Okay.
that. That's not a guy. That's a girl, by the way.
Oh, is that a girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
She outed herself last week, and I'm like, I knew you were a chick. There's no way no man could do this and keep his sanity.
I never thought of it that way. But yeah, you're right. But yeah. Okay. Well, the young lady or young lady or older lady, whatever, who puts that out, man, it's like, we laugh at it because it's, look at these crazy people, but these are the crazy people who are in our schools teaching our children.
That's what I had we talked about, my background with my granddad being superintendent and all that. With Moo, we pulled Moo out of school in 5th grade when he was transitioning to 6th. So we haven't been a part of a public school system in years. I had no idea how bad it would have gotten inside the schools with these people. These people are crazy.
Oh, I mean, I've had the school board superintendent threaten to have me permanently banned from all school property under threat of arrest.
Oh, they tried that shit with me too.
And mostly because he didn't like the way I talked to him and his employees. And when he said his employees, I said, "You mean my employees?"
Mm-hmm.
And that just pissed him off even more. But what it was is, two phrases I said, and I said on a constant basis, I don't give a damn what other school districts do. Well, how dare you cuss at me? I don't give a damn what you think either. And, Becca, he is awake.
Hi, Becca.
But, because I use the word damn, he threatened to have me banned from all school property. That was his, that was his excuse. What the real reason is because, he didn't like the fact that he was using his position as school board superintendent to try to push for more gun control.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you weren't elected to represent my views as gun control and other policies. You were elected in this position to oversee the education of our children, nothing else. And don't you dare use your position to try to take away my gun rights.
Well,
And
they've knocked it up a few notches since then.
you know, he did not like that one bit, because even though, and I have to admit, the guy has done a good job with our school system on the whole. Now, him and I did knock heads when they were holding female-only STEM
Oh God.
things after school. And when I called up and asked him when they were doing the male only, he said, "Well, we don't need male only. We got enough boys going into STEM fields. We're trying to get more girls into it." And I told him, I said, "That's great, except you're violating Title IX, and you're looking at a massive lawsuit if you don't either make it open it up to both genders or hold male only STEM courses." And it wasn't 3 months later that the college and 5 other school districts all got served with lawsuits that were doing it. And so they canceled the program here at our district.
You know, I understand what they're going for, and it's good intentions. I get it. You want more women, you know, because back in the day, women were told you can't do this. But we're now living in 2021. Women know they can do this if they want. The thing is, most women I know don't want it. Don't waste my time with this shit. This is not what I'm interested in. Let me go do something I'm interested in.
Damn it, what's her name? The Navy girl. She streams on Twitch quite a bit too.
If she's not a thought over on Twitch, I don't know her.
No,
just saying, man.
No, she's on Monkey's stream. She's one of the active members.
Oh, Gamer
Valine. Yeah, thank you. Okay. She is an exception. I mean, I've talked to Gamer because she worked on the flight line on the Navy ships. And of course, I was on the flight line in the Air Force. So we talked quite a few times. And that is one impressive young lady.
Shroom. It has been well established. She has a bigger dick than most men. Just saying. And she won't argue with me on that point ever, because I ain't wrong.
You mean she's like Weibo?
Oh, no. Weibo's still a girl. Gamer, when she turns it up, she impressed the boys from Gulf City when she went to their little convention in Texas. They were impressed with that woman and how she just walked in, and she was more one of the guys than most of the guys there. And she flattened some people. And then Becca showed up, and it was like, oh, no, you don't get those two Spitfires in the same room. Oh, you poor children are dead. These two girls are going to kill you.
I missed that whole thing.
Yeah, they had a little, Gasly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does the whole Gulf City thing. Well, they had a little get together, and Gamer and Becca showed up, and I was like, "Oh, you poor children, they're gonna eat you alive."
Wow. See, I don't know if I will ever do anything live like that. You know, where people actually meet my face.
It's not that bad, man.
You know.
It's not that bad. I've done it.
Last night on Rex's stream, you got to see my stocking feet.
Oh, yay.
509520003.
Come on, shut off phone. But yeah, because I was using my phone last night, and the camera kicked on, and it fortunately kicked on to the one that's pointed down at my feet.
Yeah, I've turned
But-
the camera on a few times.
But I don't know if I'll ever do a face reveal, let alone a real name reveal.
That was kind of the cool thing with Gulf City is they all got to meet in person, but if you didn't want to be seen, they blocked your face out of all the pictures and stuff. Of course. So, and we've done this because the wife and I met playing a video game online, and we actually went and met a bunch of the people that we played with. All cool people too. It was like I was wondering, am I going to end up in a trunk out in the middle of Vegas somewhere, getting buried in the desert? These are online people. This is crazy. What am I doing? They were all beautiful people. All had families, kids. It was like, oh, y'all are just geeky normal people. Okay,
Yeah.
I can do this. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people in our little niche of the internet here.
If you say so.
You know, the problem is I've already gotten my first 2 death threats.
Really?
Yeah, with this little 65-person stream that I do, 65 followers, I've already gotten a couple of death threats.
No.
Oh yeah, because
Wait, why?
Racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe.
But you don't. But it's not like all you do is talk about the current events of the day.
Racist, sexist, homophobe. What can I say?
God.
Because I don't believe because I'm a strong believer in meritocracy. I don't believe in equity. I believe in meritocracy. You get what you earn through your own hard work and talents. I do not begrudge basketball teams being 90% black. Why? Because only the best players are on those basketball teams. And if the best players happen to be mostly black, so be it. Just like the best swimmers are mostly white. So be it.
Well, Pat explained that one to me. He told me that black people just think like rocks and water. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I had no idea. I thought that was just an urban myth. And he's like, no, man. That's why you don't see us at the community pools much. Really? Okay. So, all right. Okay, so that's not just a stereotype. It's real. Because I found out, that's the other thing I found out. Black folks don't like cold weather. I had no clue. I thought that was a stereotype. And they're like, no. My friend Woody used to come up and go snowboarding, and then he'd sit by the fire for 2 days to thaw himself out because he'd been out in the cold. And I was like, really? So you ain't wrong, because white people can't jump. I'm 6'5". I can't touch the rim on a basketball hoop. So yes.
I'm 6'3", but I can. At least, let me rephrase that. I'm 6'3", and I used to be.
Yeah, back in the day.
I only had 2 things when I played basketball in high school. I had 2 things going for me. I was the only person on the team who could hit effectively outside of what's now considered the 3-point area.
I was awful at that.
From the top of the key to mid-court, I hit 80%.
No.
All right. And I was in the high 90s at the layups. That was it. Any other place, I could not hit a foul shot to save my life. All right. I literally, when I got fouled playing basketball, I had to back up to the top of the key in order to hit the basket. I could not hit from the foul line. And the coaches had to look up in the rule book to ensure that I was allowed to do that. Because some of the refs, they were like, "Oh no, you have to stand at the foul line." And the coaches would say, "No, he can, as long as he's behind that foul line, he can, and inside that area, he can shoot from wherever he wants." It's just people try to get as close as possible. I couldn't hit from the foul line to save my soul. And that, if it was either far distance or right there at the basket, that was it. That was the only two places I could hit. And being as I was 6'2", as an 8th grader, I was taller than everybody else in my class.
Yeah, I know that. I was there. Well, see, this is something I'm not getting. We want the best possible product put in our sports, or
right.
We want to watch the best people. Who gives a shit what colored skin they are? When the World Series it was on a couple weeks ago, they were talking about how the black
Good
folks
morning, Ramen.
weren't represented enough in baseball, and I'm like, no, that's not true. That's not true. There's a couple of reasons that black folks aren't playing as much baseball as they used to. One, it's really hard to get a pickup game in baseball.
Yep.
Like it is, with basketball and football. I don't know about you guys, but I played, 3-on-3, 5-on-5, football, stuff like that. You can play tag, football, whatever. Can't do that
I
with
grew up
baseball.
doing the same thing.
Can't do it with baseball. So, and when you live in the city, it's not like they have many baseball parks in cities anymore.
And they don't allow stickball like they used to.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. So, the kids are going for football and baseball. Plus, some of their biggest heroes are playing football and baseball.
Football and basketball.
Or basketball, So it's not the white man trying to keep the black man down. It's not, it's not what it is.
No. Could you imagine what the basketball teams would look like if they forced the diversity standards there that they try to force on businesses?
Could look like the WNBA, man.
Good. How about any football team in California being forced to have 50% of their front line being women?
All right, now I have watched bikini football, and it's okay. That's a good sport, actually.
But could you imagine the Oakland Raiders?
Hey,
having to have half their offensive line being women?
Don't you be bringing my Raiders into this.
Well, still, imagine what that team would look like, say, against even the Cleveland Browns that didn't have that restriction.
It probably wouldn't look much different than the Raiders right now, man.
Hey, come on. I picked my Browns, who aren't that great of a team. All right.
One of my good buddies, he's a Cleveland fan. He grew up in Cleveland. So we go back and forth all the time. And we bet on the seasons, too. It's like $100. Whoever has the best record, who goes the furthest in the playoffs. We stopped calling each other because we felt like we're going to lose too much money playing this game, man. Because both our teams suck.
When I was in 78 and 79, I used to make that bet. $5 a game, pay up at the end of the season. I had Cleveland, you had the rest of the league.
Wow. I'd have taken that.
I won money.
Really?
I won money. Cleveland back in the day, they always finished up on the plus side. And I may only win like $5 or $10 off of each person. But when I'm making that bet against, 20 or 30 people, that $5 or $10 a person added up in a hurry.
Yeah.
There's one of the women decided she was going to get on that. And I can't remember what team she picked. At the end of the season, she come in with a stack of $5 bills to pay out like you wouldn't believe. I think she lost like $300.
We did because I'm a Yankee fan and he's a Cleveland fan. are an Indians fan. Well, they're not the Indians anymore, are they?
Yeah, there is no Cleveland. Yeah, there is no Indians anymore. I don't have a baseball team to follow anymore. I'm crying. I don't have a ball team to follow
You
anymore.
really didn't have one to begin with, Shroom.
Oh, yes, I did. They even made 2 movies about them.
Yeah, how crappy they were.
Hey, they still had 2 movies made about them.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, they're famous though. They may suck, but they're famous.
So come on, I mean, the only other team you can say that about is the Yankees.
Yeah, see, I'm a Yankee fan.
All right, that's the only other team that's had movies made about them.
Yeah, but they were good movies about good players.
Those were good movies about Cleveland. They made a lot of money.
No, I'm not giving that one to you, man.
Oh, you get. No. I'm going to take it whether you want to give it to me or not.
It's like when they made the movie about the Mighty Ducks here in Anaheim. It's like, but they suck. Yeah, but we got a movie. That's because Disney owns the team, you buttheads. God.
Yeah, Tom Berenger is one of the actors. What was that movie he was in? Sniper. Tom Berenger in Sniper was, that was a great movie. As far as
I like him too, but they didn't put him in enough movies.
Not well.
The first movie I saw him in was Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that dude. I just introduced Moo to the Eddie and the Cruisers soundtrack, and he's just looking at me like, what the hell am I listening to, Dad?
The first movie
right?
soundtrack is amazing.
Right?
The Dark Side of the Moon album is amazing. Thanks for reminding me. I've got to get that. I've got to buy that and put that on my playlist.
Yeah, it took me back. Yeah, it took me
back
a few years.
God, I forgot how good that movie was. I may even have to buy the movie. So I may have to buy the movie, see if it's available on Vudu, and buy it just to watch it again.
Well, Irate and I are talking about we're going to introduce Moo to music and movies.
Right.
And we need old guys like you.
We had last night, speaking of music, the young lady, she comes in, and like I said, it's a young black woman, and she's wearing a Willie Nelson t-shirt. And her jacket came open where I could see the t-shirt. I said, oh, wow, you really like Willie Nelson? And she looked down. She goes, no, I just bought this shirt at Old Navy. I thought the design was pretty.
Oh, God.
She had no idea who Willie Nelson was.
Oh, God.
So I shut off my Bluetooth on my phone, went to YouTube, and I pulled up 7 Spanish Angels. Okay, and had her watch it, and she goes, "Okay, yeah, he's got a good voice. It's an interesting voice." And then I pulled up On the Road Again, and had her listen to about half of that.
You are an evil man.
What do you mean evil?
Man, my father used to make me listen to that. I hate that song.
What, On the Road Again?
Yes. And even Willie Nelson admits his voice sucks. And he's like, yeah, my voice sucks.
Oh, yeah. But he's made a fortune off of his sucky ass voice.
Yeah, no.
I could have been really bad and pulled up Whiskey River.
No. God damn it. I feel like I'm having the same argument with my father I did 30 years ago. Dad, you got to turn this crap off. You're going to drive me insane. 8 hours in the goddamn car going from Southern California to San Francisco. And I got On the Road Again playing. Dad, shut it off.
When on my playlist, because I don't listen to the radio in the truck. I listen to my cell phone through the Bluetooth speakers. Okay. and it's Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, Willie Whalen, Home Free.
You know, I'm going to retract that invite. You aren't allowed to hang out with my child. No, you just played everything my parents played back in the 70s in the car, man. No. Just no.
Now, your parents didn't listen to Home Free. I'll guarantee you that.
God, I hope not.
Uh,
I don't know. My dad had a pretty diverse music collection.
No, I'll guarantee he didn't play Home Free because the band didn't exist.
Hang on.
Have you ever heard Home Free?
Hey, be careful there, man. My dad got into Herbie Hancock in the 90s. I was blown away. I'm like, Dad, no. You can't listen to Herbie.
The Highwaymen album was a great group. That was a great grouping for them four guys. Mr. Scott, he's absolutely right.
No, he's never right.
If you want to listen to a great a cappella group that does fantastic covers, look up Home Free. Okay. They're the first one I heard of them was they did a cover of Ring of Fire. And then they did, and the next one I caught was they did Man of Constant Sorrow. I just bought their two last albums. Wow, Kenny's got a 22-hour drive tonight. Is he going to do that straight?
Oh yeah.
Or is he going to stop halfway? I hope he stops halfway.
Have you met his wife, sir? Of course he's doing it all in one shot.
Well, I figured he'd need a night of rest before he reported back for duty.
Well, Becca put him to bed early last night.
That doesn't mean he went to sleep.
Yeah, Becca, you should come on and tell him the story about Kenny and the leaking truck. Because that was
I heard that story. I heard that. I was still listening last night when you were telling that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. After I got off the stream with you guys, I was still listening until I actually got to bed.
You know, every time I think Becca can't surprise me, she does. And I'm like, in the driveway, you were going to just pull your pants down and pee. Uh-huh. Okay, Becca. Why am I not surprised? And she outed herself. Kenny caught her because she was laughing too hard.
Oh,
Kenny can hear us? Uh-oh.
Now he's asking questions.
Good luck with that, Becca.
Kenny, Becca's a good girl.
Kenny, watch this girl. Watch
She's
her.
a good girl. Don't worry about her. She's good.
Wow, now you're lying again.
I'm not lying.
Willie Nelson has a good singing voice. Becca's a good person. Wow, lies are just flying all over the place now.
No, I've never said Willie has a good singing voice. I said he's got an interesting singing voice that I like.
Okay.
All right. There's a difference.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
There's some people have got great voices. Other people have interesting voices that they've learned how to use in such a way as to make them lots and lots of money.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And until he decided that he wasn't going to pay the IRS the money that he was supposed to pay him. And then he had no money for a little while.
Wait, Neil keeps saying I've been bad the last few weeks. I'm trying to figure out what I've done. He's like, you need to chill out. What? I'm not doing anything. I've been a good boy lately. I just sit and dirty lurk in the chats and don't say anything. No, hey man, you know I'm not on Twitter, and even I know you're blowing up Twitter. Wait, what? You know, You know, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy.
Well, this has been fun, but it is now 11:30 my time, and I have to start getting ready for work. I've got to cook up some dinner. Well, no, I've already got dinner cooked up and in the fridge.
I was gonna say, didn't you do that yesterday?
Yes, I did. I've got Monday and yesterday I cooked a week's worth of food between those 2 days. So, but I need to get a shower and get my clothes out and get them pressed up for work.
Wow. And Mr. Scott Bob Dylan, just shut up. Just shut up.
Bob Dylan sucks. Period.
Yes, thank
don't
you.
know. He is so overrated.
Yes, thank you.
I can't stand listening to him. Never could stand listening to the man.
Thank you.
Oh,
all right. I retract half of what I said about you.
I don't know how that man made the money that he made. I really don't.
He's a musical genius. Come on, man.
No, he's horrible.
But
okay. Tomorrow we're doing book stream. We're doing books that have been made into movies. And it'll be RVA Dar and Undead Ramen and I.
Didn't you know we changed our name?
What?
Well, Pat found a ramen called Slut Soup.
Called what?
Slut Soup.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's a ramen.
Okay.
So we have officially changed ramen's name.
To what?
Slut Soup. Keep up with me, man.
Slut Soup.
Yes.
All right. You're going.
Ask her about that tomorrow. Yeah, you ain't wrong, Becca. You ain't wrong. The Beatles are overrated too. Oh,
okay. I am doing. All right. I just did a search. Is it 2 words or 1?
Here, hold on. Let me show you.
Because when I put that into the search bar, I immediately get sent to well, let's just say I get sent to the Christian Science Monitor.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's not what my search turned up last night when I did a search for it. Everyone in my DMs got blown up with what I found.
Soup for Sluts. Okay.
And I'm going to hear her in California if you bring this up tomorrow on stream.
Soup for Sluts, another rad ramen noodles. If it's hip. Wasted and broke. Din din. Hello, lazy. Made with love and good ingredients by the world's finest maker of ramen. Instant ramen noodles. How to get Kraft pink and mac cheese for Valentine's Day.
Oh, God.
You're kidding me. That ain't going to happen. I'm not making pink mac and cheese.
Well, since they went to all natural ingredients, their mac sucks. There we
I don't
go.
know. I haven't made. Well, no, I haven't eaten instant mac and cheese for quite a while. Even though I've got some in the refrigerator right now, but usually when I make my mac and cheese, I make it from scratch.
Well, they changed the coloring. They went to an all natural. They're like, we're going to take out all the processed stuff. Well, apparently all the processed stuff was the good stuff in that mac and cheese. because it sucks now.
You know what I finally got on order that I'm going to experiment with for cooking?
What's that?
MSG.
Oh, Mr. Chan Chan uses that.
I've finally decided that I'm going to try, because I'm finding some recipes where, MSG optional, but I'm reading a lot more about it and the flavor enhancements it does. So I ordered a half pound of it off of Amazon. And yeah, Becca, I found it.
I retweeted it to him, Becca.
Well, no, I actually typed in soup for sluts and I found their website. Okay, that's why I was reading off the other ramens that they make.
Yeah, Pat was kind of heartbroken. He went to Amazon to order some, and they were sold out.
But yeah, so I'm going to try doing some experimentations here with MSG in my cooking and see exactly how I can use it.
You're going to have to let me know how that works, because I've been, like I said, Mr. Chan Chan does that. He uses MSG in his stuff.
Yeah.
And I heard that it was bad for you. I'm like, well, then why is everybody using it to cook with? So I'm curious now. You're going to tell me how that works out.
I heard that, it's the same thing, because you still see it on packaging, no MSG and stuff like that, right? Well, I went and looked it up and went to a couple medical websites on it. And it was like, if you've got certain medical conditions, you don't want to use it. It's possible you don't want to use it.
Okay.
So I would suggest, go ahead and look it up and, look at a couple medical sites and other sites and see what, and read up on it before you start to use it. But I didn't see anything there that preclude me from using it. So I'm going to try it and see how it works out. It's like when the wife bought me pink Himalayan salt. I'm like, what in the hell am I going to do with this? Until I started experimenting with it. And now, anytime I'm using raw beef, anytime I've got raw beef that I'm going to be cooking up, before I cook it, I add that pink Himalayan salt to it.
Yeah, I use kosher salt with my beef.
So, I've got kosher salt sitting there. Well, I use kosher salt in a lot of my baking and my breads and such.
I use it in just about everything. I'd rather use that than the other salt. I don't know why.
I don't use, the only time I use iodine, regular table salt, the iodized stuff, is like if I'm when I'm boiling pasta.
Yeah.
All right. That's the only time I use table salt.
Yeah.
But I don't use a lot of salt.
No, this
Next week, MS Florida man dies of MSG. Thanks, Mr. Scott. Thanks, Mr. Scott. I appreciate the vote of confidence. But people laugh at it and they say, "Oh, that just shows your age." But I used a lot of Mrs. Dash.
No, we never got into that.
Especially the garlic and herb one.
Okay.
I use a lot of Mrs. Dash one instead of as a salt replacement.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. But then I also use paprika and ginger and all my normal spices and herbs that I keep in my cabinet.
Yeah, the last 15 years I've been experimenting with spice. And I just keep adding more and more.
Yeah. My wife, when we first got married, she didn't even, she may use a little bit of salt and ground pepper and the pre-ground pepper. And that was it. And oh yeah, it is wonderful on salads. But but then too, if it didn't come out of a can or a box, she didn't eat it.
Yeah.
That was well, with the exception of what she brought home from Subway. My wife worked at Subway at the time, so she made herself up salads from Subway a lot to bring home. But I've trained her in the uses of spice, and I mean, she's even at the point now where she buys me jalapenos. I don't have to buy them myself.
I went through this with my wife too. Coming out of Colorado,
Right.
Nothing, that spice, nothing, man. I introduced her to Mexican food, jalapenos, everything. She loved it until she had Moo, and once she had Moo, she couldn't have spicy food anymore.
Oh,
And it aggravates the hell out of her because she digs the spicy food now. But since she had Moo, can't do it.
Can't do it. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, you ain't kidding because I got to cook for her.
Yeah, well, my wife, she doesn't like the hotter foods like I do. So, but I found that edge to where she'll eat it and enjoy it. Tony Chachere's is good stuff. I like Tony's if I'm doing and the wife won't eat seafoods, but sometimes I'll slide stuff in that she doesn't know is seafood. And I just don't tell her. It's like mushrooms. If she can see the mushroom, she won't eat it.
Yeah, I'm with her.
All right. Me, I mean, I'll take a portobello mushroom cap, stuff it up, and then boom.
Yeah, the wife does the stuffed mushrooms every holiday, every Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. And she's like, you want some? No, just no. That's nasty.
Man, I'd take a stuffed mushroom and fill it full of tuna. And oh my God, is that good? Or crab meat.
You're broken, man. You're broken.
I'm
You're
not
broken.
When my parents were alive, they came down here one year, and I decided, and I just got my hands on a whole bunch of seafood. So I decided I'd make them seafood one night while they were visiting. And I took in the first plate and handed it to them, and my mom's sitting there and she's eating this stuff, and, she's eating it like popcorn. She's loving it. Right? And she asked me what it was after she got done eating. I said, well, that was squid. And she goes, what? And what I'd done is I'd taken the squid, cleaned it out, cut it up into pieces, floured it, deep fried it, drained it, and it was nice and crunchy and everything else. I mean, these were 8 to 10 inch squid. They weren't really big. And after that, she refused to eat anything I cooked unless she was in the kitchen first to see what it was I was cooking.
Yeah, growing up with my dad, he ate. When we moved up to San Francisco, he's like, you're going to get into seafood. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I couldn't do it. The smell kills me. Now it's the smell of the restaurants that I miss, because there's nothing like a seafood restaurant. It brings back memories. It's beautiful. But he got me to try raw oysters once. And I'm like, yeah, that's it, Dad. No. I'm not playing with you anymore.
One place where I worked for over a year and a half, every Friday they had oysters on the back deck. Every Friday I would try oysters for that year. I tried them raw and cooked every way you could think of cooking them. And after a year, I said, that's it. I can't do it. I'm not eating another oyster. And the boss said, well, you've been eating for the last year. I said, yeah, and I ain't found a way I like them yet. But the strange thing is that I love clams and mussels. I will eat some fried clams.
Nope, just no.
But I will, and steamed mussels are fantastic, but I can't eat oysters. And Becca, you're cruel. That's cruel, Becca. That'd be putting Kessa through too much pain and anguish.
You know, what the hell, Becca?
So, but anyway, as I was saying before we got off on the fishy smells.
You have such a wonderful way with words.
We're going. I'm going to. I've got to get going. Start getting ready for work. Got the book stream tomorrow with RVA Dar. Unless I pissed him off yesterday. I think I pissed him off when they were talking about the cops because he left right after that, and I haven't seen him since.
No, that video was that was harsh.
That
I wasn't even ready for that.
You understand why I was pissed off.
Oh yeah. And I'm sorry that sheriff walks into my front yard, my dog's going for him because you were not allowed on our property.
You know, and I don't care if that dog was on a leash or not. That dog did not attack them until they were well within their property, and he pulled that shotgun up.
And a shotgun. God, I could not believe that. And you were absolutely right. They were calling the dog to come to them.
Yep. And that is what really set me off. I've seen cops shoot dogs before that, dogs were coming up and attacking them. It's like, there's other ways that could have been dealt with, but yeah, I see. I could work an excuse in, but there's no excuse for what they did, for what happened in that video.
No. They had no right to walk up on a man's property to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't. Was it a neighbor that called?
That's what I'm going to assume, that woman that they were talking to at the beginning of the video, that she's the one that called them about the dog being loose.
Yeah, that was crap.
Okay, crap. But I used to have a Lab Shepherd mix that sat in my front yard, and he would not leave. He would walk right up to the edge of the property line, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
He never crossed off the property. And
I had a
he
female
wouldn't let him be
Rottweiler
on property either.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of, well, not the whole point, but I had a female Rottweiler that did that. She'd go right up to the street where the property line was and sit down.
Yep.
This is my property. Anybody comes on it, I'll kill you. You stay off the property, you're good.
Yep.
You're good.
I will lick your hand all day long as long as you don't have your feet on my grass.
Mm-hmm. No. And with we've got a 120-pound Rottweiler now, and it's the boys. You come near one of my children, he's going to let you know that he is not happy, and you can hear him roar through the neighborhood. So I get it. But you walked onto their property, you called their dog, and then you shot their dog.
Yep.
So I don't think
that's almost as bad as the guys that open up somebody's fence to their backyard, open up the gate, or jump the fence in their backyard, and then when the dog in the backyard comes after them, they shoot it.
Yeah.
You didn't have a right to be in that person's backyard anyway.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I hope I didn't make him mad at me with that part of the stream yesterday, because that's where he disappeared on me. I hope the other stuff he told me he had going on that happened, but I haven't seen him since. But anyway, so RVA Dar and Raman and I will be doing books that have been turned into movies. and we'll have some. That's a fun stream. That's probably my favorite stream that I do. We have a lot of fun with that.
You know, Becca needs to just shut up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd been nice to have more context, Neil. But what I saw, there'd have to be some serious excuses for them doing what they did.
Even with, because they could have told the property owner to shut their gate, because I noticed they had a rolling gate. They could have just shut it and then had the property owner come out to the street and talk to them. They didn't need to walk up on their property. No need for that.
And they didn't need to be calling the dog to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Jesus, don't call the dog.
So, but anyway, everybody, please. Johnny, thanks for coming on.
Oh, you bet, man.
Livened up the stream quite a bit, as is your want.
Yeah, well, Rex shut his stream down when I showed up last night.
Well, I'm not shutting down because of you. I'm shutting down because I've gone 3 hours now.
Oh, it's always good to do those once in a while.
Yeah, but not on a day where I got to go to work.
Well, then you need to stop streaming at 8:30 in the morning and let me sleep in, and then I'm fully rested and have my coffee.
I start my stream at 9 o'clock my time.
Yeah, it's an ungodly hour. It really is.
I tell you, this morning, though, was fun because I didn't wake up until 8:15. I'm like, oh, crap, I overslept big time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I'm usually up at 6:30.
Oh, God.
But then I was on Rex's stream last night until 2, so.
Yeah, you sounded exhausted last night.
Oh, well, last night's, I was on my phone using a Bluetooth. I wasn't on the computer. I was on my Aftershok's Bluetooth. And I was trying to keep it down a little bit because the wife was in the bedroom asleep.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
my wife comes up at 2 in the morning and is like, you need to calm down. I'm streaming. She's like, I know. We can hear you downstairs. Oh, okay. Yes, dear.
yeah, we do have a tendency to get a little animated sometimes. Some of us a little more so than others, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Please, everybody, be with the ones that you love and always love the ones that you're with. Have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully you all will be too. Becca, Neil, Sean, everybody that showed up. Mr. Scott, I do appreciate you. Johnny, thanks for popping on.
Oh,
I think this is the longest you've been on a stream with me.
That I remember, yes. Because you were on a drunk stream and... Ooh.
Well, yeah, I wasn't on the drunk stream for long, though.
And I don't blame you.
So, Becca, I hope Kenny's got a safe trip back to Virginia. All right. God bless him. And I hope he makes it through till retirement and gets the hell out of that mess that he's in now. I know he wants to retire so badly.
Amen.
And I can't say I don't blame him.
Yep.
All right. But y'all, please have a good day. And we'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right. Bye.